everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I am sitting in the cabin in the quiet with Graham and our cats, getting some videos put together today. So I'm hoping that I can get these edited and up on time. My cats just passed by right before I started filming and moved some things around. So today I'm going to share the basic tools out of the Artist's Way book, and share kind of a few things that I've highlighted while I was reading this. There's quite a bit, let's see, in that chapter, quite a bit of stuff in here to share. So I'm going to try to get it all into one video. If not, I will do a couple of shorter videos. And all right, so let's begin. So here is what she shares at the beginning. I'm going to read this first paragraph just to kind of give you an idea of what is coming in the next 12 weeks. There are two pivotal tools in creative recovery: the morning pages and the artist date. A lasting creative awakening requires the consistent use of both. I'd like to introduce them both immediately and at a sufficient length to answer most of your questions. This chapter explains these tools carefully and in depth. Please read it with special care and begin immediate use of both tools. So the morning pages. So I've shared that I've been doing those for a while. Now, I hadn't read through this whole book before I started them, so mine may be a little bit different than maybe what we'll come to find out later, how she's shares how morning pages should work, but then at the same time, I think they can kind of be whatever you want. It's kind of like brain dumping exercise. So these are my Pen and Gear, just dollar notebooks. They're this kind of paper. And this one I'm almost done with. So yeah, I just have all this is just messy writing, all that stuff. I started this one October 26th. So I will probably finish that with today's stuff. I wrote some this morning, but then I got distracted. So I may just finish this up later because I kind of do more. I try to do them in the morning. I do, but it doesn't always work. So I'll probably be starting the new one tomorrow. And I have a couple more notebooks just like that. After that, I'm just going to go through whatever types of Dollar Tree journals that I've had in my stash, unless I can find these, because they're only $1 and they're easy to carry around. Alrighty, so let's get into what the morning pages are. In order to retrieve your creativity, you need to find it. I ask you to do this by an apparently pointless process I call the morning pages. You will do the pages daily through all the weeks of the course, and I hope much longer. I've been doing them for a decade now. I have students who have worked with them nearly that long and who could no more abandon them than breathing. So what are morning pages? Put simply, the morning pages are 3 pages of long-handed writing, strictly stream of consciousness. And this is kind of the examples that she gives. She's like, oh God, another morning, I have nothing to say. I need to wash the curtains. Did I get my laundry yesterday? Blah, blah, blah. They might also more ingloriously be called brain drain, since that is one of their main functions. There is no wrong way to do morning pages. These daily morning meanderings are not meant to be art or even writing. I stress that point to reassure the non-writers working with this book, writing is simply one of the tools. Pages are meant to be simply the act of moving the hand across the page and writing down whatever comes to mind. Nothing is too petty, too silly, too stupid, or too weird to be included. The morning pages are not supposed to sound smart. And nobody is allowed to read your morning pages except you, unless you want to let them. And you shouldn't even read them yourself for the first 8 weeks or so. Just write 3 pages and stick them into an envelope, or write 3 pages in a spiral notebook and don't leaf back through. Just write 3 pages. And write 3 more pages the next day. Let's see. One thing she says here is, although occasionally colorful, the morning pages are often negative, frequently fragmented, often self-pitying, repetitive, stilted or babyish, angry or bland, even silly sounding. Good. Get that all out. All that angry, whiny, petty stuff that you write down in the morning stands between you and your creativity. So, it's about getting everything out, getting everything that you're thinking about, everything that you're worrying about onto a page, get it out of your brain. And this way you can have a more clear head to be creative in whatever type of creativity that you want to do, whether that's writing a novel, whether that's Bible journaling or, creative journaling of some sort, art, painting, building things, whatever it is. Let's see. This stuff that she's talking about, this petty stuff, all these things, this stuff eddies through our subconscious and muddies our days. Get it on the page. The morning pages are the journey tool of creative recovery. As blocked artists, we tend to criticize ourselves mercilessly. Even if we look like functioning artists to the world, we feel we can never do enough and what we do isn't right. We are victims of our own internalized perfectionist, a nasty internal and eternal critic, the censor, who resides in our left brain and keeps up a constant stream of subversive remarks that are often disguised as the truth. The censor says wonderful things like, "You call that writing? What a joke. You can't even punctuate. If you haven't done it by now, you never will. You can't even spell. What makes you think you can be creative?" And on and on. So make this rule. Always remember that your censor's negative opinions are not the truth. This takes practice. By spilling out of bed and straight onto the page every morning, you learn to evade the censor. Because there is no wrong way to write the morning pages, the censor's opinions don't count. Let your censor rattle on, and it will. Just keep your hand moving across the page. Write down the censor's thoughts if you want to. Note how it loves to aim for your creative jugular. Make no mistake, the censor is out to get you. This reminds me of Satan and how he's out to get us spiritually. It's all those little negative thoughts. He's tries to get into your head, and you're not good enough to do this. God doesn't really love you, and all these things that are just lies from the pit of hell. And you know what? I saw this book. Now that I said that, and I was going to be off tangent, but I saw a book by Allie Beth Stuckey. Got it at the thrift store quite a while ago, and it's called "You're Not Enough, and That's Okay. Escaping the Toxic Culture of Self-Love." Self-love. And I thought about it, and I haven't read the whole thing. I did read parts of it. I want to get back to this. I just found it again. But I liked the idea of, if we were enough on our own, we wouldn't need God, right? So I think of it in that respect, that we need Him to fulfill the things that we need. Because when we do things on our own, we mess them up. So, okay, let's get back on track here. So just keep your hand moving across the page. Oh, wait, I just read that. Okay, so here we go. Think of your censor as a cartoon serpent, slithering around your creative Eden, hissing vile things to keep you off guard. If a serpent doesn't appeal to you, you might want to find a good cartoon image of your censor, maybe the shark from Jaws, and put an X through it. Post it where you tend to write, or on the inside cover of your notebook. Just making the censor into the nasty, clever little character that it is begins to pry loose some of its power over you and your creativity. And I have a lot of little things in here that I'll get into later. And they're just my little notes off of what I want to remember. And I highlighted a few of the quotes that are on the side of the pages. So here we go. This is one thing that she talks about the morning pages here. Morning pages are non-negotiable. Never skip or skimp on morning pages. Oh, and I have in the past where I've skipped, and I've also done half a page just recently. Now, granted, I think that was the day of the ER visit, and I thought about this. I could have just taken them with me, and I probably did have them with me. I should just take them out. And while I was there just waiting, I could have done them. So, there's a way. Okay, your mood doesn't matter. The rotten thing your censor says doesn't matter. We have this idea that we need to be in the mood to write. We don't. Some of the best creative work gets done on the days when you feel that everything you're doing is just plain junk. Your artist is a child that needs to be fed. Morning pages feed your artist child, so write your morning pages. Do anything until you have filled 3 pages. Just write. If you can't think of anything to write, just write. I can't think of anything to write. I don't know what to write. Just keep writing. Let's see. Morning pages do get us to the other side. The other side of fear, of our negativity, of our moods. Above all, they get us beyond our censor. Beyond the reach of the censor's babble, we find our own quiet center. The place where we hear the still, small voice that is at once our creator's and our own. Logic brain. So she talks here about logic brain. Was and is our survival brain. Anything unknown is perceived as wrong and possibly dangerous. Logic brain is the brain we usually listen to, especially when we are telling ourselves to be sensible. Artist brain is our inventor, our child, our very own personal, absent-minded professor. Artist brain says, "Hey, that is so neat." It puts odd things together. Bow equals wave and walker. It's like calling a speeding GTO a wild animal. The black howling wolf pulled into the drive-in. Artist brain is our creative, holistic brain. It thinks in patterns and shadings. It sees a fall forest and thinks, wow, leaf bouquet, pretty, gold gilt, shimmery, earth skin, king's carpet. Artist brain is associative and freewheeling. It makes new connection, yoking together images to invoke meaning, like the Norse myths, calling a boat wave horse. In Star Wars, the name Skywalker is a lovely artist brain flash. Why all this logic brain, artist brain talk? Because the morning pages teach logic brain to stand aside and let artist brain play. Our sensor scans our creative meadow for any dangerous beasties. Any original thought can look pretty dangerous to our sensor. The only sentences, paintings, sculptures, photographs it likes are the ones that it has seen many times before. Safe sentences, safe painting, not exploratory blurts, squiggles, or jottings. Listen to your sensor and it will tell you that everything original is wrong, dangerous, and rotten. You know, it's funny because when I started doing watercoloring, I was like, I can't do this. You can't do this. You're not good enough to do this. I'm like, well, I'm thinking maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not planning. I just keep telling yourself, you're not planning to be like this great famous artist. This was supposed to be healing for me. This is kind of why I really wanted to go through this book, because for me, I have a really hard time sharing how I feel, emotions, all those kinds of things, and writing helps me. And I think that this journey with morning pages and art in general, doing watercolors and stuff, when I can't say how I feel, I can paint how I feel, or I can write it in poetry, or write it in story form, or whatever. So that's kind of how I see this stuff. The morning pages will teach you to stop listening to that ridicule. They will allow you to detach from your negative censor. It may be useful for you to think of the morning pages as meditation. And they're to give us insight, so we can move from logical brain to artist brain, and from fast to slow, shallow to deep. We meditate to discover our own identity, our right place in the scheme of the universe. Meditation gives us not only the light of insight, but also the power for expansive change. Insight in and of itself is an intellectual comfort. Power in and of itself is a blind force that can destroy as easily as build. It is only when we consciously learn to link power and light that we begin to feel our rightful identities as creative beings. The morning pages allow us to forge this link. They provide us with a spiritual ham radio set to contact the Creator within. For this reason, the morning pages are spiritual practice. Morning pages map our interior. Without them, our dreams may remain terra incognita. And then the pages lead us out of despair and into undreamed of solutions. So there's so much here. Like, I think about this, and when I sit with my morning pages, a lot of my stuff turns out to prayers to the Lord. And me, like, it's almost like I view them as talking to the Creator himself. It's like I do a lot of the today I did, and I'm doing this, and my plans are this. And then a lot of times they turn into this conversation with God. And I love that because it's just another step in my growth in him. And I love it. Let's see here. She says, she's talking about her experience with morning pages. She says, without planning to, I was writing a novel. The morning pages had shown me a way. Anyone who faithfully writes morning pages will be led to a connection with a source of wisdom within. So, like, I really want to finish the story that I started a long time ago. But I never got back to it. I could never find that moment where I could do it. And now maybe it'll be part of my morning pages. Who knows? What should I tell them about? I guess LJ is a shorthand for me, little Julie. Let's see who she's talking to here. I guess it's like kind of like how she writes her pages or something. But this, what should I tell them about this inner wisdom? Then I listen for the reply and I write that down too. You should tell them everyone has a direct dial to God. No one needs to go through an operator. Tell them to try this technique with a problem of their own. And I love that idea of, like, we can talk to God, through just the amazingness of it all, just through Yeshua and all the things that his sacrifice and his resurrection and everything. We just have this direct line to the Lord, to God. A final assurance. The morning pages will work for painters, for sculptors, for poets, for actors, for lawyers, for housewives, and for anyone who wants to try anything creative. Morning pages will function for you. Let's see. Another thing that I highlighted is often the students most resistant to morning pages come to love them the best. In fact, hating the morning pages is a good sign. Loving them is a good sign too if you keep writing even when you suddenly don't. A neutral attitude is their position, but it's really just a defensive strategy that may mask boredom. So I think you can learn to love them. I do. I love them. Boredom is just, what's the use in disguise? And what's the use? Is fear. And fear means you are secretly in despair. So put your fears on the page. Put anything on the page. Put 3 pages of it on the page. And I have this quote here that I put little stars next to. The most potent muse of all is our own inner child. I think that whole thing just, if this was shaking, Graham was scratching himself. So, sorry about that. So, okay, one more time. The most potent muse of all is our own inner child. And this is by Stephen Nachmanovich. And there's a lot of great quotes in here that I'll try to share a little bit more of those eventually. But that's it about the morning pages. So I'm going to save the artist date for the next video to go over what that's about, because it's just a few more pages. And also that will be the contract that you will sign for yourself. So this is a worthwhile book if you want to get creative, want to have, just work through things. I think it's just wonderful the way you have all these great things to do, these exercises, these tasks that she puts before you, just to try to get to know yourself, to try to build your creativity, your whatever it is that you want to do, and just build a relationship with yourself and learn to love yourself. And this is something I struggle with, is being with myself and doing things just for me. So I think this is going to be wonderful. Let's see. There's a lot. I'm looking forward to this. I'm hoping that if any of you get this book, if you guys will join me in this, or just kind of do some morning pages and see how that, how you do with that in your journaling, or or whatever. If you read this book, let me know what your thoughts on it are. What you think, if you think it'd be something worthwhile to try. And one thing is, I keep thinking about this whole artist date thing and going somewhere on your own. Do you guys do that? Like, can you go sit in a coffee shop on your own, or go have lunch with by yourself? Like, I don't think I can do that. I don't know. Maybe that's something I need to write about. Maybe I can begin with writing about it and maybe working up to doing it, even if it's like for 10 minutes of just having a coffee somewhere and sitting there. And you never know. I think once I get in there, if I sit there by myself, take my watercolors with me, or my journal, or whatever it is that I want to do for that day, you never know. I might be able to pull off an hour of sitting in a restaurant alone or a coffee shop. Maybe we'll start with the library because I feel a little bit better there. And we'll probably start with my hometown library because I'm used to that place. I don't know if that I would do that at a library in Santa Fe, but do you guys have any like artist date ideas? Like, what would you do? And if you do morning pages, or if you decide to start, let me know what kind of notebook you're going to use. Like I said, I use these dollar pen and gear ones, just lined paper. And I'll show you some of the journals that I have that I've gone over at Dollar Tree over time. And I don't know what I'm going to use them for, because like I said, for my regular journaling, I'm like loving the dot grid, and like that is my thing right now. And I don't see myself really switching to just line journals, except for the one that my sister gave me, because I love that journal. It's beautiful. That's my next one to start. I would hopefully be done with the one I'm currently working in at the end of this year, possibly by the end of winter. I don't know if I'll actually start the new one on the first day of winter or not, but that's kind of the idea, but we'll see how it goes. I might just continue. It might get done sooner, it might get done later. But anyway, all right, well, we'll see you guys in the next one, and I hope that something in this video has piqued your creativity. And if so, let me know. And let me know what kind of creative things that you like to do. Do you paint? Do you write? Do you build things? What is it that you like to do? All right, guys, well, we'll see you in the next one. God bless you. Bye.